When I was 16, I had a severe sickness, and it really got me to question everything and come back inward. What I realized at the time was, even though I had been a highly intuitive child and traveled pretty much all over the world already with my parents as a kid and then later as a teenager with my backpack strapped on, I realized that whenever I went back home and back to schooling and back into my jobs to, save up for photography and travel and all the things that I loved, I realized that every time when I immersed myself in the full schedule of life of, our society, I lost my way. Versus when I strapped on my backpack and traveled, I reconnected deeply with who I am and listened to my intuition. Which is also one of the reasons why my mum left me to travel and allowed me to travel from a really young age onwards. She already allowed me to go to England as an 11-year-old and then 13-year-old again, and more backpacking trips ended up happening at 15 and 16 and 17. And then later after school I left straight away and went to India. So with all of that and all of the travel experience that I had, she knew that I could trust myself, and she knew that if I listened in, I could listen to my intuition and I would get the guidance to keep me safe, which it always did. However, in life, in society, in schooling, and our dogma that we have as part of culture, language, backgrounds, parenting, schooling, neighborhood, you name it, even media, all of the influences that we get, they tell us what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. And so we form these frames in our minds and we link all these pains and pleasures and good and bad to things that we think we need to achieve or do and fit into. And this is one of the culprits that happens later on in adulthood too. We start doubting what we already know inside, and we follow what we think we need to do in order to be perfect or good, or a good business person or a good parent, and so on. So you can see there would be a myriad of a network of links that are happening in our brains, and they're usually very subconscious and they just play out on automatic. What happens is our body holds these for us too, and it will hold us extra messages on top, such as formed by trauma and painful experiences, so we don't repeat them again. But what happens is, if we don't reflect on them and then also really actually clear them out of the body so we can receive the messages of our body that it's holding for us, we hold on to all these pains and tension, and they can then later on form different parts of postures and pains, and that can form then further conditions and chronic conditions. So our body keeps on talking to us all the time via thoughts and feelings and sensations, and then if we don't listen, if we don't know how to listen, they will form conditions and pains and illnesses and accidents and chronic illnesses. So we need to learn to go inwards. We need to listen to our body so we can then reconnect with who we really are and find alignment with our intuition and our inner knowing and our alignment, so we can then tap into our limitless self, who we really are and meant to be. In that form and shape, we can do whatever we put our mind to that is in alignment with who we are and where we want to get to. And it really is limitless. So what happens though is that the conditioning that we've trained ourselves to get accustomed to and that we picked up and stored in our body and our subconscious and in our conscious mind, all the shoulds and the musts and the coulds and the should'ves, all the pressures that we take in and act out on all the time or avoid, because that's still the same thing, then we actually don't live our potential. We don't live who we're meant to be, and we don't feel happy and fulfilled and open and spacious and aligned how we're meant to feel. And because this is so close to my heart, because I know how terrible it feels when you don't live out your aligned self, who you're meant to be, your purpose and your potential, and actually end up suffering either by overthinking, by pressures, perfectionism, self-sabotage, hesitance, self-doubt, you name it, unconscious and conscious patterns. All of those are just a symptom. They're the effect that happens when we disconnect from who we're really meant to be. And when we really, really tap into who we are, we'll know it. It feels so safe and certain and solid inside. And that's what I want for you. Because we're all meant to be here to share our gifts with the world, because that's why we're here. That's our purpose on this planet, to embody who we are and share our gifts unapologetically with the world. So if you're ready for that journey to tap in deeper and really find out who you are and who you're meant to be, so you can create more flow, more fulfillment, more sense of purpose and certainty and confidence, inner and outer, and more flow, impact, wealth, and so on, you name it, then reach out. And I can't wait to start the journey with you, because this journey is epic. And when you feel yourself and that safety that you can all have access to, when we clear the baggage, when we clear the emotional blockages, when we clear the conditioning and the shoulds and the musts and all the stuff we stored, we find ourselves, we come back home. Can't wait to connect with you. Reach out with the link below and touch base soon. Bye for now.